All right, it's time for us to look at our discussion segment. Right now, Okwe will be taking the lead, the first discussion story.
Yeah, so we had a little flash on what we're going to talk about today in the newspaper headline. So, and it is the road to 2027 inside the power play of Nigerian politics. Makinde had joined the national summit of all opposition political party leaders, referenced the Operation Wetie, the violence that shocked the southwest region in the 1960s, cautioning against a one-party state. Our correspondent Kevin Awoke was there and files in this report. Let's look at the video.
Bordered by recent developments ahead of the 2027 general elections, leading opposition parties have gathered here to forge a united front. They accuse the ruling All Progressives Congress of maneuvering the system to pave way for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's emergence as a sole candidate for the presidential position. While delivering the communique tagged Ibadan Declaration, factional chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Aminu Turaki SAN, said the opposition parties have resolved to confront the ruling party with a formidable opposition capable of giving viable alternatives to Nigerian electorates. The communique also demanded the Independent National Electoral Commission chairman, Professor Joash Amopiton, to step aside from conducting the 2027 polls, accusing him of showing bias and partisanship in favor of the ruling All Progressives Congress.
We shall work towards fielding one presidential candidate for the 2027 election. We shall be agreed and supported by all participating opposition parties to rescue our nation and our long-suffering masses. That INEC chairman, Professor Joash Ojo Amopitan, having shown bias and open partisanship in favor of the ruling APC, should not conduct the 2027 general election as Nigerians across board have lost confidence in him and his capacity to guarantee the required neutrality to deliver a free, fair, transparent, and credible election. His continued stay in office is vexatious and capable of triggering widespread crisis in our nation.
Earlier in his address, the embattled chairman of the African Democratic Congress, Senator David Marr, said the opposition parties cannot afford to approach the 2027 general elections as a fragmented entity, noting that the urgency of the Nigerian situation does not permit repeated mistakes of past electoral cycles.
Very confident that if we stand together with conviction, discipline and sincerity, no force will be strong enough to stop the will of the Nigerian people. Nigerians have lost confidence in the electoral body called INEC. INEC is no longer an impartial umpire, and if nothing changes, Professor Ojo Amopitan is about to preside over the most distrusted election in the Nigerian history.
For the host governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, the gathering of opposition figures is to ensure the survival of a system that allows Nigeria to remain open, competitive, and accountable in the political space. He described the Nigerian political situation as a drift towards one-party state, a dangerous transition that stands to hurt the nation in the long run.
This is a gathering about something more fundamental: the survival of a system that allows Nigeria to remain open, competitive, and accountable. Because democracy without opposition is not democracy. It is a slow trip towards a one-party state. And Nigeria must not make that drift.
The one-day national summit of opposition political parties themed Safeguarding Nigeria's Democracy, a National Dialogue has in attendance former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Mr. Peter Obi, former presidential candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party, Alhaji Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, former governor of Sokoto State, Alhaji Aminu Tambuwal, among other political heavyweights. From Ibadan, Kevin Awoke reporting for MITV Plus.
which is
Background. Okay. Well, it's good to have you back, and I'm sure you watched that report sent in from our reporter. But we'll discuss that briefly, then we'll open the phone lines. So let me quote the statement of the Oyo State Governor again. He says, "For those carrying on as if there is no tomorrow, they should remember that Operation Wetie started from here. That is Oyo States. This is the same wild, wild west." That is the statement of the Oyo State Governor. So let me do a little a background on what Operation Wetie actually means. Operation Wetie refers to a period of intense political violence that engulfed the Nigerian Western region, particularly in the mid-1960s, and it started from Ibadan. And of course, the phrase derived from the Yoruba expression means wet him, describing a tactic in which political opponents, their homes, vehicles were doused with petrol and set ablaze. The crisis erupted after the highly disputed 1965 Western Region elections, which were widely alleged to have been rigged in favor of the ruling faction, effectively sidelining the opposition. So I'm sure we understand why there's been a lot of reaction to the Operation Wetie. First off, the choice of Ibadan as the location for the all opposition Congress, whatever it was they had over the weekend, is one. The fact that what happened in Operation Wetie also started from Ibadan is another concern. Again, the governor of Oyo State is also the one raising that concern. That, listen, if what happened in 1965 that truncated the First Republic is not controlled, this could also signal a repeat of Operation Wetie. And a lot of people are concerned about it. That we are planning to go into an election in Africa's biggest democracy with a political party structure out of 36 states and the FCT already controlling about 32 of same. And there are concerns about the fact that the entire political structure seems to be rigged towards a faction, which is the ruling party. We talked about the APC trying to get 102 out of 109 senators. They already have about 257, if I'm not mistaken, out of the 360 House of Representatives. So for every state they control, they also control the State House of Assembly. So you look at that balance and structure. And the people are already asking questions. Well, their reactions to the statement of Seyi Makinde saying that it is inciting enough. But the question I want to ask you this morning is, are there valid concerns in what Seyi Makinde is raising?
Certainly, there are valid concerns, and the people behind, these moves know that there could be repercussions, because some of them were, maybe if they were not part of that period,
They
or
met
that time,
history.
of course, they met history, or they may have been a bit young, when this was happening. So it is not new, and they know the repercussions of turning this forcefully into a one-party system. The whole essence of democracy has been thrown out of the door, and we know that people will be disgruntled because looking at the number of political parties that Nigeria already has, you're sidelining every other party and putting just one, making one operational, or functional. Now, let me digress a little. I was speaking to a reporter, like I told you behind the cameras, who is, North Central. He goes from state to state within the North Central region of Nigeria. And, one of his observations was that these people have had their billboards. His major concern, I must tell you, was that are there no commercial billboards in the North Central? Do people no longer do business? Is the economy not thriving in the North Central? You know how it is in Lagos. You see political billboards, you see, companies advertising their goods and services and all of that. But there's absolutely nothing like that. The only thing you would see on the billboards in the North Central, according to him, is APC. Nothing more and nothing less. First of all, I will never want to associate with a party that I think or I see as not abiding to the rules of the game. Because, unfortunately for them again, this is the ruling party. So if there's any party that's supposed to be setting the standards,
It should be the ruling
it
party.
is the ruling party. But if the ruling party have already failed, they're not setting the standards, there are apparently no standards when it comes to that party alone. Now, give another party the opportunity to put up one billboard and tell me if that billboard will thrive. I'm not done.
Go on.
So, when you look at this kind of thing and now bring it back home to what we're talking about, you cannot tell me that they don't know what they're doing and they don't know that they don't know what they're doing, where what they're doing is going to lead to. You understand? Or the result of what they're doing, they can't tell me they don't know what it is going to lead to. So these are some of the things that they also should be getting ready to put into consideration if they have not put it into consideration. Look, I think that Nigeria has become a totally lawless country. And this one-party system that we're trying to so desperately build, you understand, is just out of our selfishness, just out of mere selfishness and greed. Because that's not the rule of the game. The rule of the game is let there be various parties and let there be healthy competition among these parties. You're turning everybody to one party. You're getting everybody to agree or, to buy into your ideologies of that party. And the truth is, not all these people that are joining are buying into their ideologies is just because they're wanting something. I'm not saying they're getting something, but most of them are wanting something, and that's why they're doing what they're being asked to do. Now, I don't know what this party thinks that Nigerians are, but the truth of the matter, Okpe, should I tell you the truth of the matter?
Please.
Nigerians will show themselves. Because if Nigerians were really and truly children of Nigeria, then I think that they should set the standards, right. They should insist on the standards, because where we are at now is not healthy. It's not good. It's not good for our politics. It's not good for individuals. It's not good for anybody. And we cannot continue to walk on this path. Operation Wete did not come with anything good at all.
It was chaos.
It was chaos. It was asm. It was anarchy.
It led to the collapse of
the whole economy was destroyed. It didn't come with anything good at all. So I don't understand why we want to walk that path again. Isn't it often said that, experience is the best teacher? That if you experience something and it's not pleasant, you don't want to experience it again. You go back and re-strategize so that you don't go through the same, experiences that you went through. And that's why we as parents, want our children to be better than we are. We don't want them to go through the experiences that we have gone through, which were not good. So we believe that we have paid the price for them. That's the way it's supposed to be. When we birth new human beings, new ideologies, new groups, new communities, and all of that, we want those things or those, whatever it is, to thrive. We don't want to now sit on it, and it's just like me saying, I want my children to be what I am. I don't want my children to be what I am. I don't. I want them to excel in their various fields of endeavor. That's what I want. So I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing, because they know the consequences. Nobody can tell me otherwise. They know the consequences. And when, or rather, I won't say when, if those consequences come, then everybody should be ready to face up to the consequences, especially if we sell our consciences out. The government at that point will use their might. But the only might that we have is our power to vote. Now, if we sell that, then we have absolutely no reason to complain.
Well, earlier in the month, I had a very short trip to Ondo State for my aunt's birthday. And I had an observation, and I tweeted about it. I said it looks like there is no other opposition or no other political party in Ondo State, from Owo to Akure to Ondo Town to Kitikupa to Irele to Keibo. Every single corner you turn to, you only see APC. So there's a picture of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On the side of that picture is Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, and then the other side of it, you get to see the candidate or the aspirant that is erecting
For
those
Senate,
billboards.
for-
I talked
and
about
for
it.
Senate,
Every
for
single
reps, for
corner
every-
you turn to. The weekend before this last one, I was in Abuja, and right from the airport to Kubwa, where I stayed, there is not a single billboard apart from that of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Not a single one from the airport down to Kubwa. Even into town, when I moved in on Saturday, there is nothing else. You see campaign vehicles moving already. And that's what you get when you have institutions of government that are supposed to enforce laws and are already being alleged to have been partial or partisan. So it is the duty of INEC to sanction political parties that have gone into full campaigns before the timetable. But even the independence of INEC is still being questioned. So which of the INEC is going to implement political parties and sanction them for already running full-fledged campaign? There's nothing anybody wants to say about it. Whether it is declaration, whether it is meeting or manifesto, election campaigns have started full-fledged in Nigeria.
And honestly, if I, as a person, if I was going to vote for the APC because I liked, their vision or their mission or whatever, I would not, because they don't strike me as leaders, good leaders. It is so shameful, and it's like nobody can do. And the part that is so hurtful is the fact that they're turning a deaf ear to what everybody is saying. They cannot say they don't hear. Even if they don't listen, they hear.
I mean, if they don't hear...
We have a call on the line. Let's take this call. Hello? Hello, good morning. Yeah, we lost that call.
If they don't, maybe people don't know. The First Republic collapsed because of Operation Wete.
Yeah.
So I think that should tell everybody. The First Republic in 1965 collapsed because of Operation Wete. So it's not like they are not listening. You said something...
And before it collapsed in 1965, this whole thing started in 1962.
Yes, there were warnings.
To be exact, it started in 1962. So there was ample time. It kept on deteriorating the same way it is doing now, because this is not just happening now, it started happening and it's still happening. When the repercussion will come, then we will say what?
You kept repeating the word ideology, and I've always said it. There's no ideology in Nigeria's political space. So let me tell you something.
Well, there's a claim that there is.
If you talk about ideology, it's not something that whips up overnight. So in Nigeria, you'd have someone that will take breakfast in PDP, enjoy lunch.
We have
in
a
the
caller.
APC.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Calling from Sango.
You're calling from?
Sango.
What's your name? Austin, you want to make a contribution?
I'm not sure this person wants to talk to us. So let's quickly run through. There's been many responses to this, but we'll single out one from Felix Moka. That is the ruling party's national spokesperson. Speaking on a sister stations program, said, and I quote, "People in leadership bear exceptional responsibilities to speak with restraint and with decorum and with some level of sensibility. You don't sit there as a governor, wield enormous authority, and incite the people who are beneath you to violence. That is not democratic. That is completely anti-democratic." And also, okay, I think we have a call.
Hello? 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 Okay, may I just quickly say this, that if you want to call us, you need to turn down the volume of your television set. I don't know if you heard me, but I'd like to say it one more time. if you want to be part of this show, please turn down the volume of your television set so that we can hear you and we can speak with you and we can hear what you want to say. We can hear your contribution. Otherwise, we won't be able to talk. Perhaps instead of that, you want to send us a message. We will read your message out and we will discuss it if that's more convenient for you to do. But if you want to call us, again, the rules of the game, please, please, and please turn down the volume of your television set and then we can talk on the Breakfast Express show. Let's take this caller. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Express. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Austin.
Austin, what's your contribution?
Sorry, I actually got the phone from my brother. I didn't actually got what was going on the station.
Okay.
I don't know if you can just...
Okay, maybe you want to watch and then call back. All right. So actually, this is a very serious-minded program. We're not joking on the station, so we don't want children to call us. If you are the parents, and this is what we're talking about, parents need to be in control of what their children do, not the children in control. Now, if your child dials this station and gives you the phone, that means you were not part of the show and you're wasting time that we don't have. So please be part of the program by watching the program. And if you want to contribute, then call us and we'll take that call very gladly. All right, Okwe,
Yes.
so that we don't waste time.
I watched the senator that represented Kaduna Central Senatorial District, distinguished Senator Shehu Sani. I watched his comment on this same issue and the way he trivialized the concerns raised. He first off questioned the membership or the people at that meeting, the leaders of the opposition. He called this party, the leader wasn't there. And I'm like, when people raise concerns, yes, we can play around the political side of it, but you can't throw the baby away with the bathwater. The governor said, listen, the reason why we had the First Republic truncated was not a coup, it was purely political because the factional leaders were assumed to have been favored by institutions that are supposed to uphold the law. And what happens? People's houses were burnt, people's cars, properties were destroyed.
No,
People
let's
were
not talk
killed.
about the people, the properties. Let's not talk about the cars and the houses. Let's talk about the people that were burnt.
Exactly.
That's why it's called wet here.
That's
They
what
were
I'm saying.
pouring petrol
they
on
will
people
splash petrol on
and
people and
burning
they set
them.
to ablaze. So I'm not sure we want to, descend into that level of chaos. And so when leaders are asking questions, when leaders are saying that, be liberal with your politics, I was much disappointed in Senator Shehu Sani because this is a man that stood at the forefront of the democracy that we enjoy today in this country. As an human rights activist, a financier of an NGO, he was always at the forefront telling the military boys to go back into the barracks. But now everybody is on the table. The meal is very sumptuous. The promises of more is even endearing to their minds. And they're coming out to say that what they had was a coffee meeting. People are raising valid concerns. We have, in 2019, we went into that election with 79 political parties. Now, how many political parties do we have now? 20. And out of those 20, how many of them are real political parties? When I say political parties now, I'm talking about political parties that are not SPVs. They're not special purpose vehicles. They are actively involved in election. They put up candidates for election, presidential candidates, national relevance. They are very much in that space. But what we have now is just a scheme of, little people left, right, and center. And the president is not saying anything. So the concerns are saying, listen, we have the likes of David Mark, Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi Amechi, Rao Varigbeshola, whatever concern, even Professor Jerry Ghana was also there. Whatever concerns you have about those people, leave the messenger first.
And face the message.
Look at the message, and the concern that is being raised. You cannot have 109 senators and you are targeting 102 of them to be a member of the same political party. You cannot have 360 reps members and almost 300 of them are already members of the same political party. The reason why we have a wide system, the three arms of government, is for them to run at the circle and check each other.
Checks and balances. We need checks and
but when
balances.
You have a
we need competition.
When there's an absolute control of the other two by one,
well, they're all speaking in one voice. Then we don't. The democracy is gone.
We're in trouble. If the president of the Senate is coming out to say that whatever the president brings, they will approve it. as long as in the interest of the nation. But you have opposition party members that can no longer vote because you have the absolute majority. Look at what happened during the 2026 amended Electoral Act. There were a lot of clauses, provisions in that act that was ignored because the opposition lawmakers could not vote against it. The clause that says that you cannot challenge the outcome of an election result based on falsification of result, that is a slap on democracy. The fact that says that if there are ballot papers presented, even if it does not have the logo and the stamp of INEC, as long as the electoral officer approved that paper, you will use it to vote. Those are anti-democracy. So when the opposition members come together, forget whether you think they are disgruntled, forget whether you think Aregbesola have issue with the president, leave all of those. Look at the concerns being raised. All the opposition party that could have provided credible opposition to the APC are having leadership issues. They are all in court, from the ADC to the PDP to the Labour Party to the SDP. Everybody's in court. Listen, when the power switches to the NDC now, the newly registered NDC, you will find out that there will be a leadership problem.
Of course.
They will say that that name has already been registered, or the name of the party has been taken. And the problem will start. Why is it that political parties are peaceful until big stakeholders move into that political party? Then trouble will start. I had a one-on-one session with Dumebi Kachiku, the 2023 presidential candidate of the ADC. There were no issues of leadership until people started looking at the ADC as a tool for the coalition. And then when Peter Obi moved in, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso moved in, Atiku Abubakar moved in, and out of nowhere, Nafiu Bala rose up and said, I'm the leader of the party. Dumebi Kachuku is also saying that David Makanko came in through the back door. Then what do we have? About 6 court cases. Labour Party also went through it until the party got destroyed in court. Now they have a settlement in their leadership. So Labour Party is saying that all the disgruntled members can also come back. The PDP is having leaders. The leadership of the PDP that was part of the Ibadan Convention is a factional leader. Turaki Essien is even still in court, challenges his own legitimacy as the national chairman of the party. So which of the faction do we even hold on to in the first place? There are rumors that there's a faction of political parties in this country that want to come together and endorse President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as their presidential candidate. When the president was in Anambra last year, in an official capacity, before the governorship election, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, came out to say to the president that, listen, my party, ABGA, will not field a presidential candidate against you. We will endorse you as the presidential candidate. The governor of Osun State, Governor Adeleke of Accord, says the caucus of Osun are supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's a member of Accord. That means if his party Accord present a candidate, he will not support the candidate of that party. Those are the concerns. Where is the Labour Party stand in all of this? Where is Damidia Papa? Where is Senator Nandi? Where is Comrade Julius Abure? Nobody knows what the stand of these leaders are. Even the ADC, are we sure that there are some members of the ADC that are truly loyal to the cause?
1 second. We have a call on the line. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. This is Austin calling back.
Okay.
Yes, Austin. Good morning and welcome to the show.
I'm surprised that your colleague is. I'm surprised that your colleague is only for the opposition party.
For which opposition party?
The coalition that he's just talking about now.
Okay.
He wants the ADC and co. Is the ruling party supposed to help? Is the ruling party supposed to help keep together the opposition party? These are people who have won government before. What are they going to give us new that they've not given us in the past? It's just making to compare. It's just making a case for them. They don't have any case. In any case, democracy is a rule for majority. If the ruling party succeeds in claiming all the opposition parties, fine and good. That is democracy. If the ruling party does not have any basis trying to help the opposition to stand, they should help themselves. These are key people in Nigerian government who should be able to settle their house. These are people who they are running from one place to the other, and we are making excuses for them. They should not go to make excuses for them. Let them keep their house in order. They are mature. These are people who have gone government before. So how come any little thing we are blaming the ruling party? If they are not capable, we should make excuses for them. Let them keep their house in order. Nobody is fighting them. They are just one person themselves. If someone, sorry, the ADC, when Bala went to court and Justice Oweki said the man to come and give reason why they should not grant Bala
Request.
the prayers that he asked for. Why did Mark went to Supreme Court? Why can't he? You that does not understand for a little law. Why can't he go to the wedding and state his case instead of going to Supreme Court?
Austin.
Why did you make a speech for them?
Austin.
You make a speech for them.
Thank you very much, Austin. And you know, keep watching the show, keep liking and subscribing to this channel. Okay, so Austin is coming from a different point of view, which is something that we have discussed on this program time and time again. Now, maybe I should quickly let Austin know that Okpe is not standing for the opposition. But at the same time, what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring to the notice of the ruling party certain steps, you know, that it is taking that may not end well. We have, unfortunately, maybe you've not been following us on this program. One of the things we have always condemned is the opposition not getting their acts together. And I have said on this program 1,001 times, well, on the breakfast show, that, you know, 2023 was the time that the opposition should have, you know, sat down, gone back to the drawing board, you know, coordinated themselves and carried themselves in an appropriate fashion, in an appropriate manner. But all of that was not done. And here we are, you know, we are not saying, and Okpe is not saying that the ruling party should help the opposition party get their acts together. That's not what he's saying. But what we're saying is that the ruling party, if they want to be the ruling party, indeed, using that name, they should lead by example. They're not leading by example. Austin, you must know that the ruling party have already started to campaign. There is supposed to be a set time for campaign. The ruling party is already campaigning. Now,
let me hold your thoughts. Let me hold your thought for a minute.
For a minute, okay, you need to give me time to speak as well.
Let me refer Austin. If you think a democracy would function without a viable opposition, then you're wrong.
I was going to get there.
The democracy that is being practiced globally, the best practices, means that there has to be credible, viable, and breathing opposition. So if you think going into an election and then maybe the political party, you said the opposition, the ruling party is a game of numbers, we agree. It's a game of numbers, we agree. But what I was trying to say earlier is the fact that, listen, yes, there are cracks within the opposition party. That was why those problems are coming up. But how do you justify when institutions of government that is in the control of the ruling party is being used against the opposition party?
Exactly, obviously and clearly.
Austin, to one side, Austin, let us tell
let's
ourselves
let's look at INEC, for example. It's looking like, I mean, I'm very happy that you understand politics. I mean, it's looking like, I mean, to anybody that can see and understand the way things are going, it's looking like, you know, he who pays the piper dictates the tune when it comes to INEC. And people have been calling, you know, that INEC needs to
stay independent.
Exactly, independent. That's what it is. It should be an umpire. It's not playing the role of an umpire.
Don't descend into the arena.
Because it is not playing the role of an umpire, we as the media need to bring it to the fore. Austin, if you understand what I'm talking about, you probably would not know everything that is happening, you know, in the ruling party, in the opposition, if the media does not bring it to the fore. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to inform and educate, you know, exactly what's going on. Now, this is how it seems. And the ruling party need to be careful. They need to be careful in doing certain things like the one I just spoke about, like the INEC, like the publicity and campaign breaking without any date, without any formality, without any announcement, without nothing. You know, it is getting worrisome. So these are the things that Okpe is trying to bring to the fore. And then, just like he said, one player cannot play this game. Austin, no matter how it looks, one player cannot play the game. The minute one player starts to play the game,
it's no longer a game.
It's no, precisely, it's no longer a game. It's no longer a game. And then, what we're saying is that if you go and listen to Makinde's speech, there's no curse and there's no wishing or anything.
It just raised
valid concerns. This is how Operation Wete started. It started in the year 1962, not 1965. 1965 was when the election took place and when there was a complete breakdown in the economy and in everything. There was anarchy, there was arson, there was everything you can think about. And that's what we're talking about. So we are not partisan. On this table, we're not partisan. We're just bringing to the fore. We're bringing to your knowledge, what's going on. We have one caller before we take a break. Let's listen to this caller. Hello. I guess we lost that call. Okay, so it's time for us to take a break. Right now, we have yet another discussion segment. So we will, be looking at that discussion segment. I don't know, this caller is really trying to get on the line, but we may not be able to take him on. All right, the next discussion, I'm going to take that one. Lagos roads and extortion of motorists by security officials. On a typical morning in Ikeja, you don't need a map. You just follow the uniforms. First stop, men of the Federal Road Safety Corps. Stationed along Lateef Jakande Road by the mall, sometimes in quiet collaboration with LASMA officials. Turn inward the NECA building and you're greeted again. This time by the officers of the Ministry of Transport, almost as if that junction has its own permanent cast. Ease your way towards Alausa, and just when you think you've seen it all, there they are again, positioned strategically or perhaps mysteriously near the passport office. Make that U-turn by Abiola Gardens, and like clockwork, men of the Nigerian police force appear early, watchful, and quite frankly, puzzling, not necessarily from the Alausa station, not always on the main roads, but always present. Even at night, they linger in the shadows of Alausa, tucked into corners where activity raises more questions than answers. One officer was once asked where they were from. Agege, came the reply. Oh my God. And you begin to wonder, what exactly is going on here? Well, thank God that Disu is in charge now, and I hope he sees and hears this report and he does something about this. Is this security surveillance or something else entirely? It's a question we're asking. Well, let's show you this next video, this time from Aja. We'll just watch this video and then we will return.
The only concern is that when you have Alausa and somebody tells you he came from Agege, you're trying to make a balance. It's really disturbing. Sometimes the question is, are these intentional? You question whether they have specific reasons why they are this much in a specific location. You see police, you see LASMA, you see road safety, you see VIO. So if you escape police, LASMA is there. If you escape LASMA, VIO is there. If you escape VIO, road safety is there. So there's someone somewhere that's not just doing the right thing that they're supposed to do. You know, because a lot of Nigerians are pretty much comfortable with the fact that whatever happens, find something, give them. And that is the concern. And I'll continue to say it. Whether they remove pocket from the Nigerian police uniform or they change the color of their uniform, even if they pay Nigerian police officers 1 million naira per month, a lot of them are so used. A lot of them are thriving. A lot of them are enjoying the fact that, you see, those side hustle, like they always say, they are comfortable with it. On my way to the office this morning, there was an unnecessary traffic. And this is why. If you're coming towards Otedola Bega, that Mobi filling station, that bypass where you descend into this link road into Alausa, there's always an unnecessary checkpoint there. We're not saying these people should not do their job. But if you are doing their job, we are okay with it. But if you're not doing your job and you're extorting the people, and you are creating artificial checkpoint. You know, in Lagos here, there are places where police people would allow you to enter. You will not see sign that is one way. Then they will just hide in one corner as if they are hunting for victims, as if they are just waiting for you to just slide into that one way. They will catch you. So if you catch me for committing a traffic offense, take me to your station, take me to your yard, or you book me and let me come and pay my dues. You cannot be giving me a POS agent account for me to pay fine into. Because there are cases here where there are reports that police officers have their spouses or their friends that run POS. So if they catch you and you don't want to use your ATM card, in fact, these days they don't even collect cash now. They will call somebody and they will tell you that, oh, send this money to that account. As long as we continue to allow these things to thrive, as long as we continue to feel like it's normal, even we Nigerians, we the road users, some of us are faulty. Some of us are at fault, rather.
At fault.
Some of us
Are
don't have
guilty.
spare tires. Some of us have expired extinguisher in our cars. Some of us are driving around without tinted permits. Some of us, our rear light is bad. Our side mirror is bad. Our wiper is bad. Oh, our documents are expired. We don't have passports. We have fake ID cards. Oh, we have fake driver's license. 1 year is not showing. You've created that vacuum for them to extort you. And that's a fact. You didn't renew your papers and then you got up on the road. You've created that vacuum to allow yourself to be extorted. So where the matter became an extortion is this, that when you don't allow people go through the right process of fixing, oh, your documents are expired. Oh yeah, I will book you. This is your fine. Go to our office, pay these monies, and then revalidate your document. Everybody will go in peace. But when policemen now catch you, and then they now give you an alternative, is either I book you 25,000 or you pay me 10,000. First off, the policeman will not renew your document for you. The money you pay to the police officer does not mean that tomorrow morning another one will not catch you for having fake documents or expired documents.
I'll give you an example of something that happened to me about a couple of weeks ago. I left the office and I was heading towards 7-Up, and on the road, you have these arrows on the road, and some arrows would point straight and some would point to the side. So there's this lane that has both arrows, so which means that you can either be going straight or you can turn. Anyone you can. So I was on that other lane, and some MOT person came to me and said, I was on the wrong lane, and apparently I saw a car that had been parked. They had ransacked that car. The woman was it was a female. She had even opened her boot. She was tired. Her trunk was open. She was just tired. And they said I should wind down my window. I wound down the window to be able to communicate with them. And they said, I needed to open my door. I said, that's not going to happen under any circumstance. That's a joke. That's not going to happen under any circumstance. What is my offense? You need to tell me. They told me, that I was supposed to have turned right, that lane was for right. I said, you need to go look on the road.
And look at where the arrow is pointing.
It says straight and it says turn. So I've chosen to stay on this lane, but I'm going straight. I don't think I missed it. I said, I'm not winding. Don't I trust them? I said, I trust you. I trust you to do your job very well, but I'm not going to open this door. I didn't open the door for them, just to let you know. And you see, that's what they do. They just want to get in your car to extort you. And that's quite unfortunate. And I know that their bosses have issued statements, official statements, that they should always never get into someone's car. Okay, now this situation that we just played is, it's a video from Ajah, and we're told that this happens often and again in Ajah. Just as we say it happens in Ikeja, it's happening in Ajah, it's happening here, it's happening there and everywhere. It's happening in Ogun State. Look at the Shagamu interchange. That one, you have the customs officials, you have the NDLEA, you have the police, you have the road safety, you have all sorts of, security agents. There, you start to wonder, what is the problem? Who have I offended? So we need to be more, careful, such that we don't put ourselves into a situation where we have to, bend to their rules or obey their rules, their personal rules.
I think that's
their personal rules. Because the other day I was going to Ekpe, I was stopped by road safety. they asked for my particulars, and my driver brought out the particulars, and the guy was so happy with the particulars. I was wondering, why is this guy smiling like this? Apparently they had expired, but I know that my particulars are always up to date. Apparently the driver gave them the wrong set, and he was new, so he never even checked. So when the man now called me, I said, well, your documents have expired. I said, not my car. It's not possible. He said that I should look at them. I said, but then this is the wrong set.
You now brought out the right
I now said, we must, in this car.
His mood will change.
I'm telling you, when I brought it out, and then he had called his superior officers, they
money
were
don't
all,
come.
you know, they were all ready.
POS
and
on
then
standby.
I looked, if I was my brother that was in the car, I said, I'll look for it. He looked for it and he brought it out and he gave it to them. And the driver had his driver's license. Everything, they said fire extinguisher, they said everything was there. And they had no choice but to say we should move. Okay, we have a call on the line. Let's see if we can take this call before we go on. Hello, good morning. Good morning. I don't know why, but perhaps it's the network or something.
Well,
okay, so
we're just saying, okay, I think the person is
it's
here.
connected. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning. I can hear you.
Oh, good morning. Where are you calling from and what's your name, sir?
This is Philip. I'm calling from Ghana. I'm watching your program.
In Ghana? Where in Ghana? Accra, yes. Tema. Where exactly?
I'm calling, Accra.
You're calling from Accra. Okay, go ahead and make your contribution. Yes. Are you Nigerian or are you Ghanaian?
Yes, I'm a Nigerian.
You're in Nigeria. All right, so go ahead and make your contribution.
My contribution here is this. We are talking about these police people extorting money from innocent Nigerians.
Yes.
Now listen to me. If you are going to the border side, come and see all kind of police. You have police checkpoint like 20. You have immigration checkpoint like 20. You have soldier point like 40. You have custom point like 100. All in one, taken from one particular vehicle. And these are things that are actually degrading degrading Nigeria as a nation. Why would the government allow this thing to be happening, even in international rules? This is a disgrace. Please, government should do something about it. Take these people out of the road. If there's going to be checkpoint, let it be 1, 2. If it is police, let it be police. Like if I go to Ghana, for example, once you cross into Ghana, there's a place where you have all the forces there gather. They check every vehicle that goes in. Once you go in, you don't see any other thing again. But here in Nigeria, once you cross the border, everything comes from beginning to end. You see police, take it, and they're not ashamed. They're not afraid because nobody will prosecute them. This thing is getting too much. The government, at least, I like what you guys are doing. I appreciate you guys, but you guys should go further. The government should do something about it because they are disgracing the nation Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philip. We appreciate your contribution. And we must say to you that that's why we're here. We're trying to bring it to the fore so that, you know, somebody up there will hear it and perhaps, you know, take action. And I do want to buttress your point because I have been to Seme many, many times. And, you know, the part that baffles me is when they say, where is your passport? When I am going, you know, I am not yet, I'm not even yet at the border. I'm still in Nigeria asking, where is my passport? What if I'm going just, you know, before the border? You can't ask me where is my, and then when I come in, they now start to ask me some very silly question. And I just look at the level of intelligence of these officers, you know, it leaves a lot to be desired. And honestly, that thing could be nauseating because, okay, from me to you, you have in between us, you have like 3 checkpoints, and it is sickening. It is embarrassing. It is very degrading. Now, you would have said perhaps it's an African thing. It may not be an African thing because I have gone to Republic of Benin. I've gone to Togo, I've gone to Ghana, I've gone to Cote d'Ivoire, and I've gone by road. So, and I'm not saying that corruption doesn't thrive or it doesn't take place, but I'm saying at what level? Nigeria is too glaring. It's just a little too much. Not a little too much, though. It's actually very much, you know. Okay. What
I really hope we do the right thing. When you have someone calling from outside of the country And then they're actually bringing to us what is really embarrassing. I remember there was a time I was in Ghana. I went to Tamale. That's like 8 hours from Accra, thereabout.
Yeah.
And when I was coming back, my host was telling me that, that the money I have, I should make sure that I change it before crossing the border with it, because the value will drop. And one of the things that caught me is the fact that there are people that takes passports to this border and they pay them and they stamp those passports. It's not like they travel, because maybe they want to apply for another country and they don't want to show evidence of the fact that they have traveled around. This is not just a disgrace to the nation, it's a criminal offense. So when you have people mounting checkpoint, go to Badagry as if the moment you pass Lasu, when you pass up, you will see checkpoint upon checkpoint upon checkpoint. Everybody's asking you for the very same thing. It's a mess, and I hope that the authorities will do the right thing.
I hope they will fix it. And we must say, particularly, some even offer money before they are asked. You know, understand?
Yes.
Some Nigerians offer money before they are asked. And I must also stress and emphasize that Aja Road is very popular.
Yeah, because they know that they are rich people
for this kind of.
The way police will disturb in Abule Egba.
Why don't they do it in Lekki?
And it's still the same corridor now.
Aja is different from Lekki. Well, I don't think we have the time, so we must, at this point, round up. But honestly, it's been an interactive session, and I'm glad that I came. All right.
I think we have a message
We
on
have
WhatsApp.
one more WhatsApp message. Let's quickly look at that one before we go. This person says, good morning here. In regards to the topic of motorists, why are they not on the roads in the north? Why only Lagos? They should go to the remote areas where bandits are. Really? Yeah. I'm not against all the security officers on the roads, but no extortion. And that's a valid point. Thank you so much for that message. I hope someone is listening, and I hope someone will put it to good use. Why don't they go to the north where the bandits are? All right.
That will become haunted.
All right, on that note, I think we must call it a wrap at this point. But please remember to follow us on all our social media platforms. It's MITV Plus on Facebook, at MITV Plus _NG on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And you can also watch our programs live on YouTube at MITV Plus _NG. Please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you so much for watching the show. Okwayemi, what do you have to say?
Well, to
round up?
avoid being extorted, and we have to make sure that your documents are complete. I like the fact that people now wear, camera glasses now, and then the police officers are also aware. Once they see that, say, a small thing, and you don't they record us. I think everybody will continue to fall into line, and that's exactly my message for us this morning.
Thank you so much, Okwayemi. Well, for me, I always say, you need to stand in front of the mirror, and if there's anything that you need to change it ASAP. We need to make this world a better place to live in. Thank you for watching the show. We hope to see you again tomorrow on the Breakfast Express Show. My name is Tom Adirili. Thank you for watching, and God bless you. Have a beautiful day.